It is the morning of May 14th, 2026. Aboard a yacht called the Duke of York, 6 divers are fully geared up, checking their tanks minutes from the water, but only 5 step off the ladder. The 5 who descend are far from amateurs. The group includes a veteran marine ecology professor with thousands of log dives, a team of seasoned researchers, and a local dive instructor who has navigated these exact waters for years. The 6th diver is an unnamed university student. As the others prepare, she feels a sudden, quiet dread she cannot quite put into words. Instead of ignoring it, she strips off her equipment and stays on the deck. 5 divers followed their training into the channel, while a 6th stayed behind because of an intuition she couldn't name. By early afternoon, she would be the only member of the team left on the boat. Their target was Diana Kandu, a channel off Ali Matha Island, known to locals as Shark Cave. Looking at the surface, it is a remote, sunlit stretch of the Maldives, warm and inviting. The deception begins at the cave's entrance. It opens into a massive, sunlit cavern that feels more like an underwater cathedral than a dangerous sinkhole. But that entrance sits 55 meters down, nearly twice the legal recreational diving limit in the country. Up until this exact morning, the scientific expedition had been entirely routine. For nearly 2 weeks, the team executed dive after dive, sampling corals at standard depths. Every prior return to the boat was uneventful. This expedition was not destined for disaster from the start. A long string of successful dives had slowly normalized an immense amount of risk, blinding a team of professionals to a lethal nature of the environment they were about to enter. The first critical error happened on the boat. The team descended wearing standard recreational cylinders filled with compressed air. At 60 meters deep, a diver's breathing rate accelerates massively, draining a single tank in tens of minutes. This chart illustrates the physiological threat they faced. As they push past recreational limits towards 60 meters, compressed air induces nitrogen narcosis. The effect mimics heavy alcohol consumption. It slows cognitive responses and strips away the natural fear required to survive an extreme environment. They were also severely under-equipped for the depth. The divers wore only thin neoprene over swimwear, and crucially, they carried no backup gas supplies or technical redundant breathing systems. But the ultimate error occurred at the entrance. This diagram shows a diver deploying a continuous guideline from open water. When visibility drops to 0, this line is the only reliable way out, a physical lifeline to trace your way back when lights fail. The Italian dive team brought no guideline. Before the darkness of the cave even enveloped them, they had systematically stripped away every technical safety net required to survive the space. The point of no return came when they swam past the sunlit cathedral and crossed into the cave's second chamber. At this depth, the daylight disappears completely, replaced by total consuming blackness. The floor of this chamber is lined with fine sediment. A single careless fin kick against the bottom lifts that sediment, triggering a permanent blinding cloud of silt that swallows a flashlight's beam instantly. Disoriented and heavily narked, the divers faced the cave's cruelest trick. A wall of sand on the floor disguised an unmapped dead-end side tunnel, dressing the wrong opening as the true exit. Believing they were heading toward open water, 4 of the divers, including the professor and her daughter, committed to the false tunnel. They swam until the passage simply stopped, clustering together in total darkness to wait as their single tanks slowly went quiet. No signs of trauma, no signs of panic. The cave didn't violently attack, it merely confused them, allowing physics and a severely limited gas supply to exact the final toll. The immediate aftermath claimed another life. During the first rescue attempt, Sergeant Mohammed Mahoudi, a senior Maldivian military diver, suffered fatal decompression sickness on his ascent. With the military operation halted, the country reached across the world to Finland. They called in Sami Pakarinen and Patrick Gronquist, elite specialists who famously recovered friends from a treacherous Norwegian cave. Unlike the Italians' recreational setup, the Finns arrived prepared for the extreme. They wore closed-circuit rebreathers with heavy redundancy built into every component, rated for 150 meters. The recovery team systematically mapped the site, following physical marks in the sand straight into the unrecorded tunnel. They located the victims with roughly 5 minutes of search time remaining before their own decompression schedules would force a retreat. The recovery required 150-meter rated rebreathers and international specialists just to reach the site of what was planned as a standard 1-hour dive. Alongside the victims, the Finnish team recovered several dive computers from the cave floor. Devices like this hold a precise, silent record of depth, time, and exactly when the breathing gas ran out. But they also retrieved an even more agonizing prize, a handful of GoPro cameras that went into the dark with the team. The professor's husband noted she almost always recorded her dives. Right now, those cameras are sitting locked inside a police evidence room in Mole. They are the subject of a formal international manslaughter investigation, and not a single frame has been released to the public. We are left with a haunting reality, a definitive, unvarnished visual record of exactly what happened in the dark may exist on a memory card right now, yet the world remains completely locked out of the truth. Which brings us back to the Genoese student. She spent that early afternoon on the deck of the yacht, staring at a flat lagoon and an empty horizon that stretched long past noon. She is a testament to the danger of group momentum. When your friends, your peers, and your highly experienced professors are all enthusiastically jumping into the water, the unspoken social pressure to follow them is immense. It is incredibly difficult to be the one who stops the line. The deadly, unmapped side tunnel is still down there. It remains a blank space in the dark, waiting for someone to properly chart its dimensions before it can disguise itself as an exit again. In the world's most unforgiving environments, survival does not always depend on superior equipment, flawless training, or a daring rescue. Sometimes it relies entirely on the solitary courage to sit on the deck, listen to your instincts, and simply say no.